Performance Improvement Plan. 3 words that have never improved anyone's day. Human Resources Department. The 3 words that make people wonder which part is actually human. Welcome to Beyond the Handbook, where we'll address that into performance management and turn it into something more specific than just squeezing a stress ball. I'm Chris Scott. This podcast is brought to you by Thomas & Hafer, LLP. It's for informational and educational purposes only and is not legal advice. Listening does not create an attorney-client relationship. Laws vary by jurisdiction and state. They also change frequently. Please consult qualified legal counsel for advice specific to your situation. Today we're talking about the Performance Improvement Plan, the workplace document that has a split personality. To HR, it's a sincere coaching tool. To employees, it's a countdown timer with a notary stamp. Both reputations are well-earned and well-deserved. I've seen PIPs that are genuinely designed to help people and turn things around. However, I've also seen many PIPs that were basically a restraining order from productivity. The real question is the document actually fair? Because fair PIPs don't generate problems. Fair PIPs either fix the issue or create a clean record that nobody disputes. Unfair PIPs, those can generate more problems than they're worth. So today, we'll talk about when to use PIPs, how to write ones that work, and mistakes that turn coaching into confusion. Because a good PIP is supposed to be a roadmap. A bad PIP is generally looked at to be a countdown to the end of someone's job. A performance improvement plan is a structured document that identifies specific performance gaps, sets clear expectations, and provides support, as well as creates check-in points. A PIP is not a surprise party where no one brought cake, or a punishment disguised as coaching, or a vague wish list. If your PIP starts with, "We're concerned about your attitude," you're not writing a PIP, you're writing a diary entry. "Dear diary, Todd was negative again today." That's not actionable. The person can't improve themselves because of it. That's a Yelp review with a signature line. Let's keep it about performance, observable conduct, measurable outcomes, job-related expectations. And one thing everyone needs to know is PIPs do not fix bad management. They don't fix unclear roles. You cannot document someone into competence, especially if you can't describe competence in the first place. When is a PIP a smart move? Well, when there's a skill gap, not misconduct. Missed deadlines, quality issues, those things can be coached with the right management. PIP is also a smart move when you can define success clearly. However, if you can't articulate measurable improvement, then don't start it. If you're willing to support it, real support, not my door is always open kind of stuff, that's another smart move for a PIP. A PIP is also reasonable when the timeline is reasonable, not reinvent your entire character by next Thursday. And finally, a PIP needs to be consistent. If you've tolerated the same issues from others without a PIP, that's probably a management problem, not necessarily a documentation opportunity. When used this way, PIPs generally work. When PIPs fail, it's due to suspicious timing. Someone just took protected leave or filed a complaint, filed a workers' comp claim, reported discrimination. If you've tolerated this action and activity for months from this person, ask yourself, why is this an urgent need now? PIPs also fail because of vague standards. Improved communication is not a performance standard. You can't hold someone accountable to standards you can't define. Impossible goals, zero support, shifting standards. Then you're writing a PIP where you privately know the person can't succeed. Put measurable goals into a PIP, not impossible ones. Using PIPs for misconduct is the last thing you want to do. If the issue is insubordination, write them up for insubordination. use your disciplinary policy. It's not a PIP situation. If you wouldn't let this person house sit, then you don't need a PIP. You need disciplinary and discharge documentation. So here's the framework. 7 things that generally make PIPs work. State the purpose. This performance plan is to address specific performance concerns and outlines expectations, and also to provide you the necessary support to help you achieve that improvement. 1 sentence, simple as that. Number 2, identify 3 to 5 specific issues that you can put within the PIP. Choose key performance drivers for your business. If you can't measure it with a calendar or a spreadsheet, it probably shouldn't go into the PIP. Examples of those would be missed deadlines, error rates, incomplete documentation, customer complaints, etc. Number 3, provide examples with dates. Not, you're always late and it's unprofessional, but your reports are due at Fridays at 3 p.m. and you were late on 4 different occasions, and here are the dates. Number 4, defining success in measurable terms. Within the PIP, submit weekly reports by Friday at 3 p.m. for 6 weeks. Reduced error rate from 8% to 3%, depending on your business. Responding to client inquiries at a 90% rate. Someone can look at these and say, yes, this has happened, or no, this didn't happen. There's no interpretation needed. It's all objective. 5 is probably the most critical, where you actually provide real support for the individual to get them where they're going. Training schedules, templates provided, weekly coaching sessions with their mentor or manager. If you're not willing to provide that real support, ask yourself, do I want this person to improve or do I want them out the door? Both are legitimate concerns, but they require different documentation. Don't use a PIP for this. Build in your check-ins, weekly or biweekly. Document the check-ins. Met on X date, improved in Y. Still need work on Z. Next check-in is next week. That's it. Document it. And lastly, you probably need to make sure you state the consequences clearly to the employee. Failure to demonstrate sustained improvement will result in corrective action up to and including termination. No drama, just pure clarity. Keep the tone professional. The goal is to help someone improve. Let's make that record not muddy. The goal is to help someone improve. The goal is to help your business improve. We can't do that by muddying the waters and put incomplete goals or unachievable goals. Okay, let's talk about some real-world scenarios. The communication trap is number 1, where the manager writes in the performance improvement plan, quote, improve communication skills, end quote. Well, nobody knows what that looks like. The fix to that would be send daily status updates by 5:30. Respond to internal messages within 4 hours. Now, it's measurable. Second one would be the post-leave problem. If the employee returns from leave 2 days later, now we need to talk about performance, and a PIP quickly follows. If you had the issues before the leave, the documentation should show it. If you didn't, you should ask, am I being fair? Because if you're not being fair, everyone knows it. Make sure your documentation is in place. And the last scenario that I see a lot is the impossible job. The employee is failing, but the workload is impossible and the priorities change hourly. The goalposts are constantly moving. A PIP can't and won't fix that. The actual problem is the clarification of essential functions, reduced scope, and setting clear priorities and goals in your PIP. Provide that real support that that person needs, whether that's from a mentor, a boss, or from a coworker to take the burden. All right, here's the takeaway. A good PIP is clear and fair. Specific issues with dates, measurable goals, real support, regular check-ins, professional tone. A substandard PIP gives subjective standards, impossible goals, no support, suspicious timing. The question in that scenario is it fair? Fair PIPs work. Unfair PIPs can generally create a problem for everyone, from HR to management to the employee themselves. If you really want this person to stay with the company, a PIP is for you. If you don't, then that's not the document that we should be talking about. If you'd like our PIP template, which is one page with a 7-part framework, reach out to me at Thomas Hafer or any of our attorneys. My email is cscott@tthlaw.com, or you can call me 717-237-7111. In the next episode, we will explore workplace investigations, how to conduct one properly and avoid the most common mistakes. I'm Chris Scott. You've been listening to Beyond the Handbook, where policy ends and the real work begins. And remember, if your PIP starts with, "We're concerned about your vibe," please don't. No matter how much my teenage son wants to make vibe a thing, it's not, and it does not belong in a PIP. And when in doubt, call your lawyer. Thanks for listening.